Hello everyone and welcome to another weekly video for the Divergence University. My name is Jordan and today we're going to go through the trade examples that we found interesting or tradable, should I say, from the previous week. And as we can see on the calendar, that would be May 10th up until the 14th, which gives us a few entries right here in the table, right? So let's see, what do we have? Let me just fire up the pen here. And we're going to talk about it. All right, dollar franc. Now for dollar franc, what we have in this specific case was treated as what Vladimir calls the triple three higher highs, higher lows kind of pattern. This pattern suggested pullbacks and continuation to the upside. Since we're looking at divergences, the way this entry was delivered was based on hidden divergence, first of all, up to here, right? And then we're looking at continuing divergence, which starts developing. And this is also, well, I wouldn't really call it a false break, right? But it is some kind of rejection, which later on, I'm pretty sure it developed into this kind of triangle, descending triangle of some sort. But at that stage, in the lower time frames, even we can look at it as a possible false break, a bit forced, right? A bit forced. This is not the best false break we're going to work with. Anyhow, what is not forced and what would be a reliable thing in this situation is the zone. Okay, this is the entire zone right here, where the price pushed through, right? It got out of this zone, and then we're coming to retested divergences. And the expectation, at least in the short term, with which I also would agree, is to see at least one more push up. Then what's going to happen at that stage could be interpreted in different ways, but at least in the shorter term, my expectation was also here to see some kind of push upwards. Bitcoin, sell opportunity. If you're following the club and the live sessions inside the club, you know that there was an opinion developed around Bitcoin for a potential push to the downside, which, by the way, it did happen. But not every entry that you have according to your directions is going to deliver an actual profit, right? Even when you're correct in terms of directions. And this is one of those cases, right? So basically, if you're attacking with hidden divergence right here, the price would be pushing to the upside, kicking this thing out. Now, why would be this hidden divergence an interesting one? Well, if we look left, we always look left when we're looking for levels. We can see that the price many times came and stopped around this zone, testing, retesting, etc. for some reason. Okay, what this reason is, I really don't care. Okay, all I do care about is that we do have a level here, right? If I'm looking to sell this thing, I need to know that this zone is strong. So the expectation here is something like this. Think about this scenario, just vice versa, right? Or this scenario, breakout, pullback, continuation, breakout, pullback, continuation. This kind of situation, breakout, pullback, continuation, breakout, pullback, continuation, okay? So that would be more or less the expectation. I'm not going to go into the deeper analysis of the entire structure and so on, but overall, that would be basically what we're looking for. Aussie CAD coming very close to the top of this range right here, okay? And this, at least in my opinion, is an amazing zone, amazing resistance level. And as long as this level holds, I would be definitely looking to sell. Even if it's short term, this is definitely a fantastic level to work with. So look what's happening here. I personally would see that as an impulse, which means short term at least, I need to see pullbacks, then possible continuation or entire reversal, right? But this is in the future. I don't care that much about this one because by this time, this trade should be already ended. So the process of thinking here is you have a completed structure, you have a divergence, you have a level, you're expecting based on the divergence and the structure, at least short-term pullback, probably closer to the 50% or so, approximately this zone, okay? I'm not really sure where the 50% is, but when I look at the levels, this definitely is the level I'm going to pay attention to if I'm around the PC. Now, in our case, you can see that clearly we're using fixed risk-reward ratio. And in this case, the target falls just a few pips below this zone, and this is not good. Okay, this is not good. This is a bit riskier. So a few ways to avoid that, if you're not around the PC, of course, right? Because most of the times myself or Vladimir or part of the team will be around the PC monitoring. But if you don't have a team, if you don't do that full time and you need to set and forget your setups, a few tricks could be applied here. First of all, if you need, I don't know how many pips, let's say 5 pips or 10 pips, okay? You need 5 pips improvement of this target. What do? Well, once you get the false break, once you get the divergence, look for a pullback of 5 pips, the distance that you need. Place an order, pending order, just 5 pips or X pips as a pullback in order to get your target inside this zone. Okay. Another way to handle it is by being around the PC, actually manually managing it. So once and if the price comes to this zone and you see some signs against it, you can always go ahead and pull the trigger. You can start pushing the stop loss downwards, for example, which is another way to make sure you're at least collecting something out of this thing if it starts pushing lower and you don't lose money, right? I mean, there are many, many ways in which you can handle these kind of situations, but you got to pay close attention to them, right? If you're aware of what's happening, then you can act accordingly. The hard part is to figure out the levels. Okay, actually, it's super easy for me. It's super easy by this time. And I believe it's extremely easy to spot levels manually by naked eyes, right? Nothing special, no indicators, nothing like that. The price action is giving you enough information to spot these levels. And if you don't believe me, go back, watch few more videos, 2, 3, 5, 10 videos, and you will see time after time, these levels are there, they're present, right? So there is no excuse here for you not to go ahead and learn how to identify such zones, okay? All you need here is time and effort to sit down and practice that, right? You don't need investment, you don't need capital to acquire this kind of knowledge. So that's about Posica. Then we have Bitcoin again, but this is already from the 9th, which is Sunday. All right, well, I guess that would be all for this week. If you have any questions about any of these setups, not just for this week's examples, but for the previous weeks as well, go ahead and post comments below, find us in the Telegram groups, we'll be there for you. But since I opened Bitcoin already, let's quickly cover it, guys. Look what's happening here. So in terms of divergences, again, we're looking at the bigger structures. We know that we're looking for sells, whatever the reason is, right? Focus on the potential entries. False break, divergence, false break, divergence, okay? This is also the place where you're getting a breakout of the most recent attempt to continue up. this is the last structure that we see on the chart, right? And you can be looking also at the bigger one. But we're not here to trade trend lines, we're here to trade divergences. So when it comes to divergences, there are two super important critical parts: levels, okay, false breaks. Basically, when you see the price coming to a zone and it starts slowing down and it starts getting rejected, you know there is a very good chance the price is going to give you a pullback at least. Okay. So again, that would be all for this week. I'm wishing you a fantastic one. Stay safe, trade conservatively, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.